Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our PD session for teachers only. For those who don't know well yet, my name is Dyagileva. I'm an MIEExpert, MI trainer, global learning mentor, and also I run a group of passionate educators. Teachers love edu, and if you like sharing, if you want to learn something new about edu tools, and about the projects, you're very welcome to our group. So you can also give me a follow on Twitter. Here's my handle. Yeah, I always do it like in the wrong way. So here it is. Also on Instagram, and you can find me on inclub.com and on Facebook, on VK. So I'm everywhere, and I always like sharing and to get some more great ideas from you as well. If you have any great ideas and you really want to share with us, I will send the link to the form if you want to become a guest speaker and share with your best edu tools or projects. You're very, very welcome indeed. Okay, so I can't wait to introduce our guest speaker, educator, but slash educator, because I always invite educators only, because nowadays there's so much information, there are so many tools that we can't just have much time and enough of energy to investigate well. So I like when teachers sharing about their experiences of how they use certain tools, because it's absolutely amazing, and this is the best information that you can get from an expert like teachers, because teachers like edu, and actually we're the best learners. It's my personal opinion. Yeah, I'm absolutely sure in this. So our guest speaker is Dr. Michael Harvey. He's going to share about Gimkit live quiz learning game. And please, if you already use this tool, let us know in the chat comment here, and that you have that you're familiar with that, or if it's something absolutely new to you, let us know as well. I think it's going to be amazing to know that you have already used this tool, or you are a pretty newcomer and you just want to find out how it can be used in your classroom. Well, also, as for me, I've never heard about this tool before, so it's going to be a very new experience for me and very new tool. I also use Quizlet, and I think maybe it's familiar. I have no idea. I just want to get this information from an expert, an amazing educator. Yeah, so also, I just want to say that I feel free to share with at least one or even more ideas that you've come to learn listening to our presenter from this session, and be able to post it on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or Facebook, or even VK, so Russian teachers know that what kind of social media it is. So, well, I think we are ready to kick off this session, and I'm eager to invite our guest speaker. But first things first, please let us know from which part of the world you are tuning from, and how is your mood today? Please tell us, how is your Sunday? Because I know that these days are crazy ones, and we've got lots of lessons and little time that we can spend without learning or teaching or something like that. But tomorrow is Monday, and I hope that you will get some new great ideas that you can use tomorrow maybe. So I want to pass the stage to Michael, and hey.
Hello.
So really excited to see you. Let's kick it off. Please introduce yourself, because you're going to do it much better than I. And okay, so it's totally, I pass this microphone to you.
Okay, so hello, I'm Dr. Michael Harvey. So tina koe, tina koto katoa. So I'm a New Zealand-based educator. Oh, no, sorry, New Zealand educator. You might get from my accent, similar to Australian, I've been told, who's based in Malaysia. And it's great to see we have educators from all over the world. We have Priti from India, Daniela from Romania, and Alina from Russia, and also Kyriaki from Greece. So we've kind of gone global, which is great. So today I'm going to discuss Gimkit. So Gimkit is an application that I learnt about 2 years ago. And I also had the advantage of actually meeting the creators of Gimkit in ISTE last year in Philadelphia. They actually invited me to drinks, so I had a nice Mexican meal with the creator, who was actually just he's 18 now, but at the time he was a 17-year-old high school student, and he just designed this game because he wanted to make learning more interesting. So hopefully you can now, if I share my screen, you should be able to see the Gimkit presentation, I hope. Okay, so what is Gimkit? So Gimkit essentially is a collaborative strategic learning game. Okay, so it has the advantages of, say, Kahoot or quizzes, which you might be familiar with, but it also has the advantage of adding gaming elements, which kind of hook the students in. So as I've said previously, about 30 seconds ago, it was actually created by a high school student in the United States of America who played other classroom games, but he wanted something that was more engaging and more effective. So what he's done, it has the advantages of quizzes and Kahoot, is that you get feedback for, say, formative assessment for students, but it also adds gaming elements, which kind of makes it more addictive because it's what the students are more used to. Okay, so essentially, in summary, Gimkit is a classroom learning tool, but it adds a certain game show quiz twist with its extra gaming abilities. Okay, so the advantage of Gimkit is it captivates because it creates the idea of a game within a game. It also challenges students to recall information and also teaches students while making the sign up easier for you guys as educators, because there's wonderful integrations which are also quite useful. Because I noticed that Anna, and I need to thank Anna, of course, for allowing me to speak. Anna did mention that she's used to Quizlet. Well, never fear, because there is actually an integration with Quizlet, which we will discuss later. Right, so why the game works? Well, first, it's designed by a high school student, so he kind of understands what students want or like in their gaming, and it requires a bit of strategy. So you've got to answer questions, fair enough, but you've also got to compete with other students using gaming strategies. Like, so for example, you can freeze opposition players. So if someone's leading, you can freeze them, or if you you can buy shields, for example. So if you're getting questioned, if somebody tries to freeze you, you can shield yourself against that. So yes, it's adding those extra gaming elements to kind of enhance the learning process, a bit of more strategy behind it as well. And also use communication. And the key is, because one issue, so I was discussing this actually with Becky Keane, who's also an MIEExpert like Anna and myself. And one issue with Kahoot that we do have is that it basically, Kahoot, because you've got that timer, it prioritizes speed over learning. So you've got the anxious students who are doing the Kahoot, and they're worried about the timer going down. So they try and answer the question quickly without actually thinking about it. And the advantage of quizzes is that it prioritizes the learning over the speed to get the right answer. So it's actually rewarding your knowledge rather than how fast you can answer the questions. Another, I guess, problem essentially with, well, not problem, but an issue I again would have with things like Kahoot and quizzes is it ranks students, and that can be highly motivating for those on top, but it can be highly demotivating for those at the bottom. So Gimkit is designed to kind of alleviate that problem because you can also have team games, you can have boss games where basically, and I've done this quite a lot, is where I'm the boss and I'm actually competing against the entire class. So it actually motivates the students to kind of collaborate together, try and beat me, who's the boss. There's also Thanos mode, again, as illustrating the game design, where if you win, you get to, at least virtually, kill off half the members of your class because you just snap your fingers and half disappear virtually. It It also challenges learners of all ages. And the key is it's actually built by a high school student for students in mind, and also designed to provide kind of great formative information and data to enhance your learning, because you can look at the data, you can see what questions the kids are getting wrong, so then you can kind of develop your own lessons further on to show the kind of push their learning up along. Okay, and this is designed by the idea of the post-game reports. Okay, so having that in mind, you're probably wondering, well, how does this game actually work? So basically, players are presented with a question with 4 possible answers. So it's very similar in that regard to other applications like quizzes and Kahoot. But the thing is, they then start to earn pretend money for each correct answer. Okay, so they start earning money. Now, with this money, that's where the gaming element comes in, because they can use that money to buy upgrades. Okay, so for example, one upgrade, as I've mentioned before, is the freezing upgrade. So you can freeze opposition players, so they can no longer answer questions for 10 to 15 seconds. You can buy shields, so if someone tries to ice you, you can shield yourself from that. You can also level up, so it means that every time you get a question correct, then you can also gain more points, gain more money. And if you get a longer streak of answers, again, you're gaining more money, so you can buy more upgrades and move up in the levels. So that gives you additional earning power. Okay, so this is all based, so basically you've got the game in the sense that you're trying to answer questions, but you've got the second game going on where you're trying to also compete with other class members to try and beat them in the game by strategy. Like, when do I employ the icing tool? When do I employ the shield tool? When do I level up to the next level? Okay, so players learn the material, that's one thing, and they also master winning strategies on how to kind of beat the other class members, or if you're doing boss mode, how to beat the teacher. Okay, so here's just examples here. So this girl took Gimkit to the next level. I've never seen the amount of money as big. Okay, so the key really is the upgrade functionality of Gimkit. Okay, so upgrades allow you to basically enhance the learning in the sense, because as I've said, you've got those 2 aspects going on. You've got the answering questions, which is fine. You can answer questions, but you only get, say, $1 each time. But then if you go to the upgrades, then you can go streaks. You can increase the value every time you get a right answer. You can then develop other upgrades around, say, Thanos mode, where you can get crystals. Okay, so you've got the stones of infinity. So your job in that particular mode is to capture all 7 infinity stones, and you gain those infinity stones essentially by answering questions and getting values. Now, in Thanos mode, also, it's interesting because it's kind of using artificial intelligence, and that it determines how the game's going. So you might start off with 1 stone costing $1,000, but then by the 7th stone, you're looking at $20,000 to $30,000. So they have to answer lots of questions and also be able to use the upgrades quite cleverly. Okay, so this is the extra bonus of Gimkit, which is an extra layer of gamification on top of just answering questions like you would in Kahoot and quizzes. Okay, so the upgrades are fun, but they're also critical to the game design of Gimkit. Okay, there's an example there in the background. One example would be a multiplier. So every time you answer a question correctly, you will get 3 times the money, and that would cost you $2,000. And there's a whole range. So you've got level 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you go up the levels, that multiplier value increases, okay, because everybody's obviously trying to gain these multipliers, gain these advantages. So again, the AI in the background's working to increase those values based on the rest of the players. Okay, and if you get questions wrong, you can't buy upgrades. Okay, so it means that you can, so it means you have to be getting answers correct before you can start buying the upgrades. Okay, so still there is that getting answers correct thing. And with the report that you get at the end, so the way I do it is I have I only play short games, so you can vary the size of the game. It can be like a 2-minute game, or it can be a 10-minute game, and you can have hundreds of questions. But I tend to have about 50 questions in a 5-minute game. So it means they're actually cycling through the questions, so it's improving their recall. Okay, because it's like, well, I got that question wrong, but now I won't because I got it right the second time. And the report, which is downloaded at the end, is basically shows you how many times that student got the answer wrong. So that again gives you information in terms of what the student knows, what the student doesn't know, so you can then cater the next lesson on the strengths and the weaknesses of individual students, which is an advantage in terms of formative assessment. Actually, while I'm here, so there's actually 2 versions. There's the free version where you get basically 3 games. Okay, so they're called kits. So you've got basically 3 topics that you can create, and then once you have gone to the more monetized version, then you can create as many kits as you want. But basically, it's my little cheat for that, if they're not listening, is that I just change the email address, so then you get 3 more kits, and you just continue on with that. But yeah, so the key is the upgrades, because without the upgrades, players can't win, because then they'll just be competing with students. So if you're answering a question and getting $1, $1, $1 each time, you aren't really competing with the other students who are getting all these upgrades. Okay, so there's the 2 layers of gamification. Okay, so as a result of this, the students actually focus on learning the material instead of finishing first, because the faster you learn the material, the faster you can buy the upgrades, and the more likely you are to win. Okay, so I'm now just going to go through the modes, or some modes and some features. Okay, so the key for you as a teacher is after each game, there is a report that is generated, and it provides detailed data. So for example, for my 50-mark question, it downloads the PDF, and it's about 20 pages long. It just goes through each individual student and the questions they were strong at, the questions they were weak at. So again, you can cater for each individual student in the next lesson and differentiate the lesson. Okay, because that way you can quickly find the problematic questions or even problematic topics that may need reteaching. Okay. Another advantage is that you can go through team mode. Okay, so team mode adds collaboration and equity as well, as students submit their own questions with something called Kit Collab assignments, and let teachers assign kits. So kits are basically the questions that you're asking the students as homework, which the students actually asked for. And team mode is also quite useful if you're doing something like boss mode. Okay, so in boss mode, you are the teacher and you are basically competing against the students. Okay, and obviously they want to beat you. So for my class, they're all running around feverishly, trying to help each other, trying to collaborate to beat me, the evil boss. Why am I evil? Why am I evil? The good boss. Yeah, so it actually enhances collaboration skills between the learners. Because what I was doing last year is that I was running quizzes, for example, or Kahoots, where the top 3 students were getting rewards and everybody else wasn't. And that was basically great for the first top 3 students, but it was very demotivating for the other students. So modifying that for this year, thinking about it over the summer break, the idea around collaboration and team mode means the students are working together to actually learn the material and the kind of team teaching. So for example, last lesson in chemistry, we had a Gimkit around stoichiometric coefficients and moles and calculating, and I was obviously the boss, and I had all the students running around the classroom trying to help each other to teach themselves the material and teach other students in the class the material so they could actually beat me. Okay, so there's an example of team mode where students are multiplying their earning potential by answering questions, and they're all talking between each other to try and beat Mr. Wilkins in this particular example. And there's a couple more tweets there. A game changer around crafting questions that are easy and having the capability to assist and using Kit Collab. And the way you get to the team mode is once you've set your kit up, then the game goal, so you can see there also you can adjust the time on your kit. You can go classic, where the students compete against each other individually, but also you can go team mode, where the students can, similar to Quizlet in the sense that the students are randomly assigned a team and they have to work together as a team to try and beat the other teams, and that kind of develops collaboration. And you can also set the starting cash to any value you want. So if you want to kind of be mean, you can set the starting cash at $10. So they have to be very careful, because if they use that $10, then that's it, the money's gone. Or you can be generous and give them $10,000 as in the tweet. And you can give them handicaps as well, which means that if they go below a certain value, the game is over for them. And another thing you can do, which is very similar to quizzes, is you can give an answer check, okay, which means that if I get a question wrong, then the answer comes up. So again, it's kind of embedding that learning, making that recall central, because of course in Bloom's taxonomy, before we can start being creative and using information, we have to be able to recall simple facts in order to be able to play with them. So yeah, the kit options, basically, which we've highlighted here, okay, give you, the teacher, control over gameplay. Classes and seasons make period and unit tracking a breeze. Power-ups and themes add in-game complexity and strategy, because you can also adjust the kind of power-ups that you can give the students. So, for example, you could remove the icing feature, or you could remove the shield feature, for example. There's a whole range of options in terms of increasing the complexity, which means that even if they've done the kit before, it's a completely different gaming environment if they repeat it, if you've now changed the power-up options and the themes that they are using. Okay, so this is basically how you set up a Gimkit. So basically, you start off with a kit. Okay, so you want to, and say you want to start a new kit, which is a kit is essentially a group of questions that they have to answer. Okay, then you go and give your kit a new game, and you can either make it from scratch, which takes some time. You can upload from Quizlet. Okay, so remember Anna was discussing about Quizlet. You can actually generally upload that from Quizlet, and that's what I'm going to be focusing on in these images here. Or you can download it from an Excel or a Google Sheets document. Okay, so if you want Quizlet, you just click on the Quizlet. Okay, so for all those teachers who have made Quizlets already, never fear, you can use Gimkit, and you can take advantage of the Quizlets that you have created and kind of import them into Gimkit. Okay, so then you click Next after you've selected Quizlet. Okay, you can choose whatever picture you want there for the image for your particular kit. And then you find your sets if you have your own Quizlet account, or you can just search sets. So I used to start with searching sets, but now with my Quizlet, I have my own sets that I've made for each individual class. And the advantage of this is that if you are a Gimkit Pro or Go subscriber, you can go back and edit the kit after you've made it and add and remove questions. But remember, there's about 200 million sets of Quizlets that have actually already been converted into a kit. So you can either search kits or use your own kits, own sets in Quizlet. Okay, then you just basically click in terms of what Quizlet you've used. So this one here, state capitals, United States, 16 terms. Okay, you click on the Ipsilis, okay, for flashcards. then export. So now you're in Quizlet, you export the Quizlet. Okay, you basically copy the text from your Quizlet. So you can see there it's got basically the states and the state capitals. And then you basically click next. Click next again after you've copied the text. Right click to paste into the now into Gimkit, and then create. Okay, so now you have your new kit which you've made from your Quizlet. You've uploaded from your Quizlet, and get back again. Okay, so that's just the one integration that there is between Quizlet and Gimkit. So I've used that quite a lot in terms of definitions in physics and chemistry. Again, it's about developing those quick recall skills, so then it moves from the short-term memory into the long-term memory of the students when it comes to later assessments. Okay, so there's no you've been iced. So that's what happens if you get iced. You have to wait for 10 to 5 seconds. You can't answer any questions. So in terms of answering questions, so this is Josh. He's the 17-year-old wonderkinder that actually created Gimkit when he was at high school, hence why the name's kind of Gimkitty. And so he's got lots of ideas. And we've also got Jeff Osborne, which is kind of his mentor. He's and his business kind of assistant, who's more on the business side. So if you have any questions about using Gimkit or how to even improve Gimkit, I know they're very open to those kind of ideas. So be sure to contact them. If you have any specific questions about using Gimkit in the class, then you can also just you can tweet me at Dr. or one word _Harves on Twitter, and I'm sure I can assist you as well. Okay, so that's about all my presentation is about. So is there any particular questions in the room?
Check me out. I just can't stop smiling. Yeah, it was amazing. You're amazing. The Gimkit is amazing. Absolutely. I'm really shocked that this guy is, how old is he?
He's 18 now. So I met him when he was 7.
Lucky man. He's so clever that he invented this amazing thing. Amazing, great tool. Okay, if you have any questions, just reach Dr. Harvey. Yeah, here's his handle, or these inventors of Gimkit as well. So also, Dr. Harvey has prepared a great Wakelet collection for all of the participants. And in 1 second, I'm going just to share it with you in our chat box over there. Here you are. Enjoy. It's a great collection with lots of great resources about Gimkit. So, oh my gosh, it was amazing. Wow, I'm so excited. And you mentioned that you're high school teacher, yeah, and you mentioned that your students want to beat you, yeah. They want to grab the dollars. Is there one currency only?
Yes, there's no rubles or euros.
Okay, it's not in a good position nowadays anyway.
It is interesting in Malaysian schools because you shouldn't really gamble. So it's kind of harim. So it's virtual money. But I did mention it to them actually that some countries, the use of currency rather than just points is something that they need to look at. But yeah, there's only one currency because it's the American. So it could be New Zealand dollars, could be Australian dollars.
Yeah, it's great. I've got some really one good question. Is it for free? Maybe I misheard you. But
no, it's basically a freemium. So as I said, the first 3 kits are free, and then you have to basically buy into the pro version. But the way I get around it is that I shouldn't really say this, but I just use different email accounts. So I've got 10 different email accounts.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. I think this is it about Gimkit. Please don't hesitate to ask questions because I'm so excited, and I think this is amazing tool, the sort of gamification tool. And also, I've got these fake dollars in my class. So for primary learners, they are so eager to get them. Wow, they're so
I
excited.
could get up to $100,000. So yeah, we could be, be rich.
That's amazing. Yeah, so any last words about Gimkit? Maybe you can pass on a good advice for every educator, which step they should take at first just to start their creations on Gimkit?
I think let the kids go for it because they're more apt at gaming than you are. So just get them to play with it and see where they go from there. Don't try and kind of control them in that way. Just be organic and see what they come up with. And I do recommend the team option to start off with because it's kind of more motivating and leads to that collaboration amongst students.
I really think, and I really like all the integrations features that are on any tools. This integration with Quizlet just made my day that you've mentioned because I've got lots of Quizlet cards, piles of different topics. So it's going to be really useful for me to use them both. And I'm going to start it, I think, tomorrow or maybe today because it's not so late like at your side. What time is it now?
So 9:30 here. It's not too bad.
Okay.
I was thinking there's also a Buncey integration as well, so that's
my gosh, tremendous. Okay, this is absolutely amazing because today was a bouncy day for me. I've created like maybe 3 boards so far in a row, and I think it's going to be a great thing to use both of them. Yeah, integrations is a good time saver for every educator nowadays. Thanks a lot, Dr. Harvey, for your precious time, for your amazing presentation about Gimkit, for this amazing and great collection on Wakelet that you've shared. There's a Gimkit guide, by the way, so you should investigate and look through this collection. I said too much words of amazing and this stuff like this. So I think this is it. We're going to finish our session and great webinar. Thanks a lot, Dr. Harvey. I really appreciate you, and we want you to invite you many times more in the future because I know that you've got lots of tools in your treasure box.
We've got to discuss, yes, and service and like, maybe, yes.
It's possible. And you know something about animation, and so you can share because this is something incredible that I'm eager to learn. So this is it. Thanks to everybody who joined our session. I would like to share thank you and stay safe. I hope you get enough of energy and power these days. So this is it.
Okay. Thank you, Anna. Okay.
Bye. Thank you a lot. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.